Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Tech Talk here at MarketStream.live. My name is Joe Cusick from the Cusick Group, securities offered by MoneyBlock. This is where we want to take some headlines that we saw this afternoon in what's been an eventful afternoon trade coming off of the lows that we've seen earlier in this session and into the midday. Markets are trying to rebound here, but we have a couple stocks that have had some headlines risk. The most notable is Lowe's. The big box home improvement retailer just put out a headline that they are going to lay off about 1% of its workforce. Now, I wanted to put this in context. I feel bad about people losing their jobs, and let's hope that we can get something going here. But I wanted to take a look at Lowe's from a statistical perspective, from a technical perspective, and break it down from a headline to actually get some context on ranges, support, resistance levels, and how we should think about the stock if it's an investment in your portfolio. Lowe's trading at 71.52. It's actually up 26 cents on the news. That's up about almost 0.4%, about 0.36%. Now, if you look at the options that are expiring tomorrow, these are the weekly options, they're still pricing in a range of around 64 cents. Now, over the next 8 days, and we could see some volatility now that this news is out, the options are pricing in a range of $1.75. That's a 2.4% range, either up or down on the $71.52 stock Lowe's, LOW. The implied volatility has not spiked. It's at 21%. The rank is at 21%. That's very low when you look at it in terms of rank of 0 to 100, 100 being the highest, 0 being the lowest. What does that mean for anybody that's invested in Lowe's? There's not a heightened expectation of big violent moves in this underlying. Now, we'll see if that changes now that this news is out that they have cut workforce. Is there implications beyond just the workforce cuts? Do they foresee that there's a little bit of a slowdown in the home improvement area, which then could also flow into what is the interpretation in the overall housing market? Critical levels that you're going to want to watch on Lowe's. Watch 72.16. That is the 20-day moving average. That's the short-term trending moving average. That's what I watch to see what the short-term trend is doing, and right now it is pulling back. 71.14, that is the 50-day moving average. That's my intermediate or institutional moving average. A break of 71.14 would be negative for the stock, especially if we see it with volume. That means that not only is the trend shifting in the short term and the intermediate term, you could have larger institutional investors that may be exiting the stock. 75.22, that's been a long-term resistance point. Another point about the 50-day moving average, or that 71.14 level, that has been a level that the stock has been consolidating around for the last 2 weeks. So we're going to want to watch this very closely now that this news is out and now that we're getting into the earnings cycle. Another headline that came out was about Fiat Chrysler. The EPA came out and confirmed that they have notified Fiat Chrysler of a Clean Air Act violation. They basically have said that Fiat Chrysler had allegedly installed and failed to disclose that they had software that increases air pollution from vehicles. Now, this gives you a flashback of what happens with Volkswagen. Now, Volkswagen has rebounded quite well from that initial pullback. Doesn't trade here in the States, but it does trade in Germany, and we watched that in the overnight action report and on the open in Europe. If you want to check that out at 8:45 every day Eastern time, we talk about Volkswagen and other exporting vehicle makers from Germany. But the stock does have one notable event other than this headline that's coming up, and that is earnings on the 25th of January. So now you got this headline where they have a violation. You have earnings coming up on the 25th. You have the CEO coming out vehemently saying that this is not true. FCAU, which is the ticker symbol for Fiat Chrysler, is trading down about 9.74%. It's well off of its lows. It's trading at $10 right now. It was trading as low as $9.12 earlier today. Now, the options that are expiring in 8 days are pricing in at $2.14 range. That means that this $10 stock has basically a 20% range being priced into it between now and next Friday, in the next 8 days. The implied volatility overall hasn't moved, but it will, because the front month implied volatility, at least for the next week, and actually for the next 2 weeks, is being run at right around at 169%. That means that folks Fiat Chrysler is going to have, at least for the foreseeable future, the next 2 weeks, some pretty violent moves. Critical levels that you're going to want to watch. 945. This market, this stock has had an impressive move to the upside so far, both towards the tail end of 2016 and into 2017. A break of 945, it means that the short-term trend has been broken. We'll watch that. The level that I want to watch, though, very closely in Fiat is going to be 837. If 837 holds, that means that all the institutional support that has come in at those prices at $8+ or lower is going to watch very closely what's going to happen with this EPA situation. Break there puts the whole entire trend over the last basically 6 months into question, and then you're going to want to watch the long-term support at 727. All right, folks, that's it for Tech Talk. This is where we gave you perspective on two notable headlines. Now you have some price ranges. You know what other events are on the horizon for these underlyings. You can now make better investment decisions with this kind of information, and you're only going to get it here at MarketStream.live. All right, we'll see you at 4:30 Eastern time for the closing bell. We're going to wrap all up this action, and we'll talk about what we're going to be looking for tomorrow. See you then.